Hello and welcome to Mr. C History. Now I'm on a very meaningful walk today. I'm going through London to see sites which remember and memorialise the Holocaust, the Nazi persecution of Jews and other ethnic minorities and minority groups during the Second World War. Now, Britain wasn't directly involved in the Holocaust, but there were British victims, and also Britain was a safe haven to many people escaping Nazi Germany, and there were a few individuals associated with the Holocaust in helping the Jews, which we can go and have a look at today. So that's going to be a nice journey. But I'm going to start here in Hyde Park, in Little Hyde Park, in the official British Holocaust Memorial Garden. I think it's rather nice. It's this sort of abstract stone in the middle of this nice glade with lovely trees going around, etc. It has been criticised for being not big enough, not significant enough, not enough information. So they are building another one, but I think it's rather nice. But interestingly, I came up to film here a couple of weeks ago and it was totally covered in a blue tarpaulin because there were fears there was a march for Gaza and Palestine going through London. There was a fear that it might be attacked or defaced in some way. It wasn't, thankfully, and then perhaps it was overblown, but you can think what you want for that. Moreover, I just wanted that really highlights the power of history and the power of remembering memorials and things like this. This is a statue of Raoul Wallenberg, and he was an extraordinary figure within the Holocaust, actually. He was a member of the Swedish legation, or the Swedish embassy, in Budapest in 1944. Now, Sweden, of course, was a neutral country during the Second World War. However, he made sure that he got thousands and thousands of members of the Jewish community in Budapest out of Hungary to safety, to Sweden, and then on to other places like the United States of America. How did he do it? Well, he did it really through sheer bravery and quite brazenness, really. He would quite literally go onto the trains that were going off to the concentration camps, giving the prisoners these fake passports, these Schutzpasses. There's a bit on the statue at the back of there, actually. And he would give them to them and demand the guards say they are Swedish citizens, they deserve the right to get out. And it worked as well. He also would find houses around Budapest and declare them as Swedish land so people could live there safely. Now, the numbers here are interesting. On the side of the statue, it says he saved 100,000 people. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. The lowest numbers is about 5,000, so I'm not so sure, maybe about 10,000 or so people, but obviously their generations afterwards, huge amounts of people, so an extremely significant and brave and powerful person. What's even more interesting and very mysterious is actually what happened to him afterwards. In January of 1945, just after those events we've been describing, the Soviets come to town, the Russians, they arrive in Budapest and they arrest him. They arrest him on the idea that they thought he was also helping Nazi war criminals escape, and there was also a suggestion that he was working for American intelligence. There is no evidence for these, this is just what they did. Anyway, so they take him and they arrest him and he is never seen again. He's lost into the Russian prison system. What happens to him? Well, the official line from the Soviet Union in 1957, they said he died of a cardiac arrest in a gulag in the Siberia. Okay, fine. That was the story for a long time. Then 1991, with the release of the end of the Soviet Union, there were several people who came out of interview and said, no, he was executed by the NKVD, Stalin's secret police, for being a spy in about 1947 or so. But then more stories came about as well, that there were prisoners who said that they were with Wallenberg right up to the 1980s. Certainly in the 60s and 70s, he was believed to be still in some of these gulags, wherever they were, in the 1980s. Unbelievable if that's true. But the truth is we don't know what there is. But what we do know is he saved thousands of lives, and he's memorialised here in London and elsewhere around the world, and, good on him. I'm in Gladstone Park, which is in the Dollis Hill area of London, and it's a lovely idyllic place with lots of birds chirping, etc. And behind me is, I think, a forgotten and not really well known memorial to the Holocaust. It's specifically actually a memorial to all prisoners of concentration camps of the Second World War. So yes, the Jewish population was the majority there, but there's other ethnic minority groups and groups who were persecuted, disabled people, etc. They were memorialised here. Now, it was designed by a man called Fritz Kormis, who who escaped Nazi Germany, so he was a German Jew, and he has also been a prisoner of war, but not under the Nazis actually, under the Russians, the early Soviet Union in the 1920s, so he knew the experience. And actually the layout of these statues is quite interesting. If you look at it from left to right, it's sort of meant to be the utter despair that when you first get arrested you get more and more despairful, but the final figure is standing up, looking in hope. Hope is there, so it is a hopeful memorial to these groups. But it's interesting, it's completely forgotten, it's overgrown. There's a rather huge padlock here stopping me from going in. It's neglected a little bit, and for many years it was in total ruin, having been defaced and destroyed. Unfortunately, many Holocaust memorials do get attacked, and it seems to be locked and sort of forgotten about again, but hopefully we can try and memorialise it better. This is Liverpool Street Station. Just behind here, behind all the McDonald's detritus, is a lovely statue with some children. This obviously commemorates the Kindertransport. This was a policy of the British government just before the Second World War, 1938-1939, which was to get out as many Jewish children as they possibly could. They would issue them with passports, but it was just them, just the children. Unfortunately, rather traumatically, they had to leave their parents. And it's an interesting memorial. This has got some of the names of all the cities along the edge where they come from, and it's obviously represented with the railway track there as well, which is rather nice. But it's nice, and many of them came here to Liverpool Street. Now obviously the person most synonymous with this is Nicholas Winton. He has his own statue in Maidenhead Station, so maybe one day I'll go there. But I think this is something that the British government should be really very proud of, and us British people should be proud of and know more about. It was humanitarian. We said the numbers were not limited, as many children we could possibly get out as we could, and it went up right until the day the Second World War was declared. So, you know, good on us. I'm at Victoria Tower Gardens. Now I've been here before to see the statue of Emmeline Pankhurst, and of course I came here to see the anti-slavery memorial that's just there, the Buxton Memorial. But this, and specifically this patch of land here, is going to be the location for the new Holocaust Memorial Centre, the British Holocaust Memorial Centre. Now there's been a plan for this Holocaust Memorial for about 10 years, but it's been stuck in various different pieces of legislation. Specifically, there was one from 1900, and it was put forward by Historic England, who blocked the building of the Holocaust Memorial here because it was going to take up far too much room of this gardens. It's going to be right up to where that fence is there. I think it's about sort of 10 to 15% was the original plan of this park was being taken up. That law, as of last year, hot off the press, 2023, it has been repealed. In the King's speech of 2023, they repealed that law. So now that memorial is going to be built, the Memorial Centre, and it's going to take up about 7.5% of this park now. Why are they building it? Well, I think David Cameron, who at the time, who launched it such a long time ago, who was Prime Minister, he felt that there was not enough recognition of Holocaust. There were several critics of that one in Hyde Park, which we've seen already, and of course it's there to combat the rising anti-Semitism. So they're building it here. They apparently were supposed to be ready by 2024. I mean, they might need to get going, mightn't they? I think they're probably not going to reach that target, so maybe next year, who knows, maybe it will be blocked again, but it's going to be a place of learning and a bit of a museum memorial as well. Anyway, it's had its controversy, but hopefully it gets pushed through and it will get built. This is a good place to end. That's been a really interesting journey about how Britain tackles the Holocaust and how it tackles its memories of it. Is it removed? Is it very closely associated? Should it do more? Is it doing enough? Please do let me know, as always, and please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.